I'm stopping this.
What are you stopping?
Oh. The recording until it starts. But then, you know what, let's leave it and I'll edit it later.
Hi, Rachel.
Hey, Jerry.
How's it going?
Good. My brother flew to Israel this morning, and my cousin's on the airplane from Tel Aviv here now.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Not
Okay.
just a virtual mission.
My cousins flew home from New York City after being in Washington for 5 days and then in Philadelphia for one night and then with my daughter in New York City for 2 days. And they knew that Liat was a rescued hostage. So the El Al pilots invited her into the cockpit and she flew in the cockpit.
Oh.
I told Yehuda, I said, it's a good thing you landed safely with your daughter piloting the plane, you know? But he was funny because he said, LL, I used to hate them, but now maybe I like them.
They used to be shitty airlines.
They still are not very good. They were so exploitive after October 7th. They were so expensive. What is it costing now? Is it reasonable yet?
No.
No, it's still too
Well,
expensive.
I just booked Yali tickets to Israel and it's 1,500 in August.
Round trip.
Yeah.
1,500 is not terrible. When I tried to book it, it was nearly 5,000.
You know why? Because all the regular seats were taken and all
Right.
you had left was
Yeah.
like the.
So, but if I go to Israel at the end of September, which I might do, I'm still gonna fly a double leg
That's gonna be expensive because it's also.
just before Rosh Hashanah. But I'll fly with Belgian Airlines.
But you
or
know,
Air
the problem-
France.
The problem is that if something happens, they stop.
You must
flying.
connect, right? Yeah, and El Al doesn't stop flying.
Yeah,
I know,
I.
but I hope by
supposed to-
then it's gonna be done.
Yeah, I was supposed to fly United and they did not fly.
My United flight home was canceled. That's why I got it. You know, the extra day I got in Israel, Rachel, it felt like a snow day. It's like I had nothing to do.
Right.
And it was, in a way, it was wonderful because I just walked up and down Dizengoff Street. I literally like strolled. And it was still hard. It was sad. I'm gonna probably say this on the video. Because every coffee shop that I stopped in had signs of people that worked for them or that were patrons that were hostages or had been killed. So
That I have not seen.
It's everywhere.
the depression that you can't get away from. You can't get away from. But
I got an email from David Warren today. His mission to Israel is second half of August. And the Hartford Jewish Federation has seats available. So if we hear of people who want to go on a mission, they can go.
so he didn't
August
fill it
3rd.
up. He didn't fill it up. You know, I have to tell you, I was in Israel in May and it was pretty hot, but not terrible. I was in Washington, DC last week. Every day the heat index was over 100 degrees. You know, it registered 95 to 98 every day. And because of the humidity, it was horrible.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yesterday, I definitely had heat stroke.
Did you? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard. Yeah. My grandkids are up here for the week. Today was the first day and my grandson brought a friend up with him. It was the first time the friend had been away from home. And we gave him a nice bedroom. He cried like crazy all night.
First lesson in first sleepovers, it has to be close to home, so the parents can come and pick them up.
He called his mother at 2 a.m. Oh, and she supposedly is coming up now about my year. The mother is probably gonna stay with us until Friday because she paid for the camp. I mean, they're all going to a camp. They were going to Mystic Seaport for 2 days. And then Denison Creek Platsipos Nature Center for 2 days.
So they can.
So they've invested, you know, $600 to pay for this kid
Yeah.
to be up here. They don't want to bring him home. So we told her she could sleep in our house.
How old is he?
10.
Yeah, my daughter also is 10. She never had a sleepover.
Who's this?
Then,
Hey,
Hey, what did you think of last night?
I thought Stephen was fabulous.
You thought the talk back was good. You didn't love the music, huh?
Oh, I said I thought the music was great.
Oh, good. All right. Yeah.
Oh, I love the music.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
Yeah.
I am a big
But I
fan.
like the discussion at the end the most.
Yeah, yeah.
That
But
was-
I loved Blue Monday.
Yes.
It
I
was
loved a lot of the
fabulous.
songs, but you know, I had to take my hearing aids and turn them down 2 notches
Yeah.
because
But I
we
had to turn them up to listen to the chat.
yeah, right. But to the music, it was, oh my God. And then I took out my phone to lower my hearing aids, and Chris was yelling at me, don't look at your phone. I said, I'm lowering my hearing aids, leave me alone.
I
can't
too was
stand the
looking at
noise.
you thinking, oh, Jerry, you're tuning out. Thank you
No.
for clearing that up.
Yes,
How was the turnout last night?
Good, really good. They had 126 people and I think maybe 80 or 90 on Zoom.
it was good, but the Zoom was not by way of, it wasn't a Bethel Zoom. It was Stephen's channel Zooming. So all of those people were his people.
You had to pay to be on the Zoom?
I
Yes,
don't know.
but you could do it when the PR went out with the playbill, the last thing that came out. If you scroll to the very bottom, that's how you ordered it. So I guess the money must come to Bethel.
I don't know.
Yeah, unless we paid a lot of money for the. for
No,
the-
he's got a channel. I think he's got a
No,
Zoom
no,
channel.
no, the Steve Trust.
Yeah.
Did they pay for him?
No, he appeared for free.
Mm,
Oh, are people joining?
Yeah.
Oh,
Do we
that's
have to-
that's my daughter-in-law Karen calling. I will decline.
Oh, you could talk. We have 4 minutes.
I'll decline.
Okay,
Takes more than 4 minutes.
to talk, yeah.
I'm going to stop the waiting. No. Now they can just come in. I don't have to give them.
Permission, okay.
So 126, that's like the biggest event that was there in Bethel for, I think, years and years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the tickets of the upper levels, Dana, were followers of Stephen Trask. There were people who came in from Providence, people that came in from New Haven.
Wasn't that great?
It was wonderful. It was wonderful.
Super. Yeah.
It was at Evans Hall in Connecticut College. Yeah.
Is that a facility we should use for events?
Excuse me?
Should we look at that facility for our events?
I don't know how much it costs, but yeah, you should definitely look at it. You could also do, it's actually easier to park by the Hillel House. You know, if you're gonna have 30 or 40 people for an event, the Hillel House is better. If you're gonna have 50 or more, then Evans Hall isn't bad.
That you can't have like, it's not a conference room, you can't have dinner at all.
No, it's not a conference room. It's a small theater.
Auditorium.
It's a small theater. With good acoustics. Hi, Mimi.
Hi there, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Okay,
All
We had a
right.
nice visit in person today. Mimi came into the office to discuss the Jewish leader.
Oh.
yeah, it was a nice meeting, it was a good meeting.
Good.
So Mimi, I'm confused. If I paid my dues, $36, 72, whatever, are they asking me to pay again? Is the year up? I don't know.
Rachel, you could explain that.
The way I'm telling
But
people
but
is
Mimi and Dana, mostly Dana. Dana, do you see this?
the
I do
Jews of
see,
New London.
I see that.
Yeah, I see
I
it.
have a DVD of it. And
Great.
we think we just made a YouTube, so I can send you the link. No, it's not, זה רק 30 דקות. וזה 40 ומשהו.
53.
53, אז צריך
Oh,
לבדוק את זה.
is it gonna be on YouTube?
we're trying to get it on YouTube.
Oh, that would be so fabulous.
I know, it'll be great. It'll be
Hey,
great.
Jerry, this is really interesting. Maybe somebody knows the answer. I tend to doubt it. Stephen was saying that he has some friends in Kentucky who, lo and behold, said their families lived in New London in the 30s, that they came to New London, their claim, they didn't go to Ellis Island, they came to New London on a boat. I never heard of any boat coming into New London. Did you?
Yeah, well, they were ferries
That's what I said.
from New York.
Yeah, and that's what I said. No, Stephen, it had to have been they came into New York and they had a ferry and they came to New London.
No, you're right. That's what it
There was
was.
just no way that a ship came
No.
in.
No, there was, there used to be a customs port where the museum is now, where the
Oh, I know
Amistad
that.
tied up.
I know that, right?
Yeah, but I don't think anybody came.
I think they just didn't know the exact details.
Yeah. What I want to ask Berna is that Schwartz family, a family that goes back to the German Jews that were in New London? Or are they Russian Jews that came in the late 1890s?
You'll have to ask Myrna.
Yeah, and Myrna has to ask Bob, and Bob isn't here to ask.
I do know Bob's family was from Alsace, Lorraine.
From
No,
Alsace,
Bob's mother, Therese.
was from Alsace-Lorraine?
Yes. And the family name was Ruff.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see. But I'm trying to get all of the Jews of New London onto YouTube. And I think if we go through my premiere thing, it'll let me do the whole thing. I think the 30 minutes might
I
be
think it might
what's
be.
limited to.
You know, Jerry, I
Well,
haven't
if you
seen
do
that
this,
film
you
in
can-
years. I might not be so happy when I see it. Who knows?
No, it's good. I was at a meeting this morning with New London Landmarks. And they want us, they wanted help on doing a project on the Jews in London. So we gave them the names of all the significant buildings in New London that had Jewish affiliations. And then we talked about stories and storytelling. And, we sort of said Naomi Ratcliffe and Rena Linder are the last two who could tell you the stories from long ago.
Now, how about Henry Savin?
Henry might be able to. That's a good third name. And then we talked about like a walking tour through downtown London and the Blinman Street Shul and, even going to 28 Channing Street, which was Rabbi Manchester's building before it became the Federation. But they're funny people. They're interested in buildings because it's New London Landmarks. And I said, well, buildings, you have to tell the story of the building. You can't just show them the building. And I told them, you could take them to Trinity Missionary Baptist Church, but somebody who's no longer alive has to talk to them about how Bethel started at Trinity Missionary Baptist Church and how Kaplan had his house right across the street, and they did the Oneg Shabbat in his house and on the porch. All of those stories have to be told. Yeah. And how when they did the sermons the sermons were in Yiddish.
Right. And how they auctioned. I don't know. I know they did in Chesterfield. They auctioned off the Aliyahs. I would have guessed.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did the same. They did
Yeah.
that in my shul. I mean,
Yeah.
in Washington Heights.
Right.
Especially, for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, you bought your Aliyah. Oh, hi, Pat.
since what happened on Saturday night, mainly the ones on the main
Okay,
stage.
we're, Howard, wow. Pat, Howard, turn on your cameras. I want to see your faces.
All right, thank you very much. Now let's go down. Where the podium, that's where Boris Sanchez is right now. And
Okay,
Boris
yeah, it'll come up.
Dana, we can hear your television.
Okay, I will move upstairs.
Just,
But I mean,
we'll
it's
begin-
funny because I'm not on mute. That's right, I'm talking. I'll go upstairs. It's no big deal.
Or go in the kitchen or whatever.
do you want to start? Shall we begin?
Oh, we have 36 people registered. I only
No, we
see,
have 24.
yeah, but we only see 11.
I'm in the Dinion room.
Good, good. So we're gonna do Jewish time. We're gonna start like at 7:08. We'll give a few people a little more time to get on. Howard Cooper, where did you go?
For the camera, I can't find it.
I hear your voice, but I don't see. Oh, there you are.
Where
You
am
have
I?
to change it to, I'm looking at your door.
That's right, but I'm not. the
Flip
door
the
is-
camera. There's a little thing that turns the camera around.
I'm looking for it. I'm not familiar with,
Are you on your phone or on your computer?
I'm on a computer.
Oh, so sit in front of the computer.
I am in front of it. I'm controlling it.
You mean?
Oh,
you mean-
I get it. I get it. Wait a minute.
You have an external,
Oh, no, I see the
We
top of
see
your
the
head
top
now.
Head now.
Lower it down. Tilt your screen down.
All right, I gotta lower the screen.
Oh, it's good to see you. It's been so long.
See you, Jerry.
Irene, did you get your brother to go on?
She
Unmute
invited.
yourself, Irene. Unmute yourself.
Actually, it was a last minute thought because Howie's daughter Abby made Aliyah and she and her family are in Israel.
Howard, where are they in Israel?
They're in Jerusalem.
Oh, wow. Cool. Lower your screen a little bit more so we can see your whole face. Just a drop more.
All right, you're gonna make me clear my desk here.
Oh, you have a desk like I have, huh?
Ah,
Okay, that's good. All right.
okay, good enough.
Okay, which Julie is this on that doesn't have a face?
she's sick.
Oh, she's there.
Yeah, no, she's just sent a message.
Ah, good.
Oh, okay. Oh, great. No problem. Thank you.
Okay. We'll wait one more minute.
One more minute,
and then
then
we'll
we start.
Ah,
It looks like you have a red ribbon tying up your pillow there, Dana. Yes.
It's an attempt to be chic with my pillow.
Okay. Hi, Pat. How are you?
I'm good, Jerry. How are you?
I'm good.
ah,
Good.
oh,
Hi, Irene. Hi, Howard.
hi.
Okay, we're gonna start. So let me tell you, lay out the map for this evening. And then we're going to go through it. The last part of this evening is going to be a rather serious conversation, which I will interrupt from moment to moment to comment on, with a man who is the director of Beit HaGeffen, which is a shared society program in Haifa that I often bring mission groups to. But I want to start with, there are many remarkable moments that happen on missions. And one of the most remarkable moments happened with the mission that Sherry Barnes was on. So I want to play that video first.
Share sound. Go to that one. Share.
So this is our group at the aqueduct in Caesarea. And this was the retirement mission for Rabbi Aaron Rosenberg. No, I want to go to the video now.
So minimize it. Or exit. You don't need it. Just exit. Okay.
And now I want you to hear what happened at that
No, it's just share. And slow this one. Give me a second.
I want you to hear what happened. Oh, I need to get to that one.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
going to, so don't
Okay.
touch it. Let me do. Okay.
Everybody together.
So that was an amazing moment. We had gathered the whole group at Caesarea, and Sherry had her guitar, and it was our first day in Israel. Most of the time when we land in Israel on a mission, we leave from the airport and we go up the coast, and we go to Caesarea or Caesarea, and we were in the amphitheater. And we were singing to ourselves, Havenu Shalom Aleichem. And then this group of evangelical Christians from a Caribbean island that has their own unique language heard us singing Havenu Shalom Aleichem. And they walked up on the stage and started singing Havenu Shalom Aleichem in their local language. Huh. And then we did it again, and you saw the camera. We were all so excited and amazed by what happened, but it was a magical moment. And I would say that every mission that we have had has had magical moments that have not been replicated. And some of you have been on missions, so if you want to talk about those later, feel free to weigh in on what they were. But I want to actually start with what would have ordinarily been a pre-mission orientation. So when I do a pre-mission orientation, I try and get people to appreciate the position of Israel in the world. So I show them
with a mission to Israel.
No,
No, it's always this one.
Sure.
Because it's a different tab. Let's go to this one. Big share. Then go to the next tab.
okay.
Just close this one because we don't need it.
Now, do you see this map, everybody?
Right. Okay, yep, bye-bye.
You see the map? Give me a thumbs up if you see it. Okay, thank you, Rachel. You raised your hand. So this shows you very clearly how Israel is the land bridge between North Africa,
I
the
go.
Levant, which means eventually Asia, and Europe.
Okay.
It also gives you a very important understanding of ancient human history right through to modern times. In ancient human history, if you went to the Carmel, the mountains in the north of Israel that protrude into the sea, you would come across a UNESCO site that I actually don't take people to because there's not much to see there. But the reason is that it's a UNESCO site is it's one of the most dense populations of Neanderthals in the world. So there's many caves in the Carmel Mountains that have Neanderthal DNA and Neanderthal relics and artifacts. So from this map, I point out to everybody who's going on a mission, when you say Israel is surrounded by enemies, in the past, it was true. Egypt to Israel's west, Jordan to Israel's east, Syria to Israel's northeast, Lebanon to the north, and then beyond those immediately bordering countries, you have Saudi Arabia, which just about touches a lot, although Jordan cuts it off there. You have Iraq and you have Iran. And then you have here the countries, Bahrain, Qatar, and the UAE that have all now recognized Israel, along with Egypt, which was the first country to sign a peace treaty, and Jordan, which was the second country to sign a peace treaty. We're going to now go to the next map. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger, I hope. There you go. And this map shows you Israel, but it also shows you the areas that Israel conquered and still holds. Israel used to hold this area here, which you know is Sinai, and it gave all of the Sinai back to Egypt for the peace treaty that they have with Egypt. And it still retains the West Bank, Gaza, and the Golan Heights. The American government under Trump recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. So there are maps of Israel that you can see that show the Golan Heights as part of Israel proper. But the EU and the rest of the world has not recognized Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. So it is still shown here as occupied territory. And here you see the West Bank, which is called by many Israelis Judea and Samaria. And here you see Gaza, which is the source of our problem right now. And on the north of Israel, you see these blue areas shaded with the orange, and you see the word UNIFIL. That is the area that the United Nations has pretty much given up on controlling, but this is the area that Hezbollah is in and is launching all of their attacks against northern Israel. So if we were to go on a mission now, I would explain to everyone that this area around the Gaza Strip is still a very limited Israeli military area, but the citizens around here are slowly being allowed to return to their homes. Here is still evacuated, completely evacuated. The citizens that are staying there in defiance of government orders to evacuate.
The ones that, the two,
So speak.
so the ones that are built up in the north are the,
Evacuees.
the not evacuees, the ones that are left are the ones that are supposed to watch over the settlements and the basically turning off fire, putting off fires.
Yeah, there have been lots of wildfires from the missile attacks. And now I want to show you the third map, which is a very important map for us because it shows you Afula, our partnership area, and you can see the Jezreel Valley. All this green is the Jezreel Valley going up to Haifa and across like this. And as we zoom in, you can see Afula. You can see the little village of Sulam. Those of you that are at all familiar with the Tanakh will know it as Shunam, which is where the miracle happened of women, or one woman, I can't remember her name now, becoming pregnant and giving birth. And to this day, many Orthodox Jewish women go to pray at her house if they're having difficulty conceiving a child. What's important here is Ganer.
Take it down.
Ganer is where we often visit. It's right on the border. This line here is the border with the West Bank. And if you look a little bit south of Ganer, you see Jenin. Jenin has been in the news for many months now because Hezbollah has tried and has to some degree succeeded in taking over the terror cells in Jenin together with Hamas. So Hamas and Hezbollah have tried to reactivate the resistance to Israeli occupation in Jenin. Jenin was a source of tremendous infiltration, and the Gilboa Regional Council was the first council in Israel on their own to build a fence to protect all of these villages from terror infiltration. Now, when you stand at Ganer, which is right here, and you're going to see it in greater detail in a minute, when you stand in Ganer, you can look at Jenin and see it. And you can see this village, and you will hear, and when I was standing there, I said, "You mean they can shoot me from there?" And he said, "No, they don't have rifles strong enough for that, but they can shoot to the hill below you." So this is Ganer, and this is Afula, our partnership city, and this is the Gilboa, and I wanted to get to Nin. Many times there's Nin. Many times I bring groups to visit with an Arab Israeli who's Muslim, in this village of Neen. Right here, it's on a hillside. And Nail Zawabi and his wife and his kids have welcomed probably a dozen of our missions to their home, and we get to visit an Arab home. Nail Zawabi is an unusual Israeli in that he's a Palestinian Israeli who's a supporter of Bibi Netanyahu. And we visited his home. And this is where I get to explain a little something that I'll tell you now. When you visit Israel and you see the Arab villages, you'll notice that almost all the Arab villages are in the middle of a hillside. And you see there's a little bit of mountain above him, and then there's the valley below. And the anthropology of that placement has to do with the fact that if you're at the top of the hill, you can't collect any rainwater because the water is already flowing down. If you're at the bottom of the hill, you can't drain out the sewage that you need to drain out because you're already at the bottom of the hill. So many Arab villages, including Ir David, the city of David in Jerusalem, was built halfway up a mountain. Being halfway up a mountain, they were able to build cisterns to collect all the rainwater that they can hold through the dry season. And they were high enough up the mountain that the natural gravity allowed all of the wastewater to leave their village and go down. So now I'm going to show you a school. And this is a very short video. When I was in Israel in May, I told you about the evacuees. I don't want to start it yet.
Yeah.
Start the evacuees from the north. So the Gilboa region absorbed over 300 students all of a sudden, and they needed to mobilize and build schools for these kids, and they needed to staff the schools. And the staffing of the schools came from retired teachers. There were so many retired teachers in the area who literally walked up to the principal of the school that was there and said, use the bomb shelter as a school, use this as a school, use that as a school, and we will staff it.
אמרנו נסדר אותה לאט לאט, ואז נתנו את המשנה.
So this is a makeshift school that's a teacher. And now I'm going to introduce you to Asaf Ran. Asaf Ran was a shaliach to Hartford, an emissary to Hartford. And he was in Hartford, Connecticut for 3 years. He was a very popular shaliach emissary, and he helped us start the Young Emissary program. And he, when he went back to Israel, was a recruiter of the Young Emissaries, and he trained the Young Emissaries. He was born in Haifa, and when a position came open in an organization called Beit HaGefen, the House of the Grapevine, he applied for the job and he got it. And he is a native of Haifa. He lives in Ganer in the Gilboa. The Gilboa, by the way, is more than 50% Arab. And the Arab villages and the Israeli kibbutzim and moshavim get along tremendously. There is always a Rosh HaMoatzah, a sort of county mayor, regional director, and he's always been a Jewish person. And the vice director, regional council has always been an Arab. And the relations have always been fantastic. So Safran came from this very cooperative region in the Gilboa and took over Beit HaGeffen in Haifa. And when October 7th happened, an organization that had as many Arab employees as they did Jewish employees was under tremendous stress. And I sat and interviewed Asaf. So I want you to hear that interview, and I will pause it a few places along the way to make some comments or ask you if you have questions, or you could post questions in the chat. Share.
תקרא בחופש הגדול, אמרנו נסדר אותה לאט לאט, ואז...
No, let me pause this one. Okay. And now we
Right, okay,
don't start it.
yeah, start it.
Susan, and I remember that my mother called me and told me my best friend, really my best friend, was killed, and his mother is keeping asking of him, where am I? I am coming, and it was the same day and I ran back to Haifa and went to see her and sat with the family all day, and then evening I came home and I said I must see if my friends know, our friends know, and I'm calling first our closest shared friend. And his father answered me, and I'm feeling something is wrong. And I'm saying, Gilly's home? And he's saying, where are you? Are you here? When are you coming to see us? Gilly will not come back now. And I didn't know, I was shocked. I was paralyzed. And it's happened to be that they both served together. I knew they served. I didn't know they served the same place at that time. And they were killed together from the same tank shot. It took me, I think a week later I couldn't pick up the phone to no one. I was afraid to call anyone. And that was horrible. And then another friend killed as a pilot. And I'm saying that out of 15 friends we've been together in a platoon in the Scouts, in my level of age in Haifa, one of the tribes of Haifa, 25% were killed during the years. And it's something you learn to live with. And though nothing prepares you to something that happens in October 7th, think about my work. I'm the CEO of a peace organization. And my two kids are twins, 27 years old, are jumping to their cars in 12 o'clock in Shabbat and goes to their bases before even being called, because they are special units. And I'm not hearing nothing from my son, who is in a commando, for a week almost. And I'm going to work every day, working with Arab and Jews, which I truly believe it's very important still, and that's life. And he was 3 months. His sister is in intelligence. He was in very, very important role, but safe, in the bunkers down there. And because it's funny because she is serving in a control place, control everything. She had what we call the red phone, and because he's in a special unit, they have in a small group of 15 people, they have a red phone because they're doing special missions. So the only connection we had with her through the red phone she had with him. So the finest few days she could tell us everything is okay. But I'm going to work every day. And first to ask me, Nir is okay, everything is okay, you're fine with my Arab friends, who some of them have families in Gaza. or in the West Bank. Doesn't matter. And they're truly worried for Nir. And they're truly cannot accept nothing that Hamas did in 7th of October, even if they do believe in the world, even if they do believe in the right to fight with Israel. Okay? But this is not fight. This is massacre. And it's all blend. You know, research shows, and pretty soon.
Okay, so the if you can't hear it well, the first part of this interview, he speaks about how he was a soldier during the Yom Kippur War, and how so many of his friends, a third of his friends were killed in the Yom Kippur War. Then he talks about October 7th and how his two kids, as well as many soldiers, went to their base that they're supposed to go to as miluim, as reservists, before they were called up. And the third part of what he was saying was that his son is in a very high-level intelligence unit in Gaza. And because he was in this high-level intelligence unit, he could not communicate with anybody outside of Gaza, except that he had a red phone. And the red phone connected to the Kiryah, to the Israeli version of the Pentagon. And his daughter worked in the Kiryah, in the Pentagon. So his daughter could speak to her brother, his son, and after they spoke, she would call Asaf and say everything is okay. So now I want to move forward a bit.
He's talking about the dilemma, I think what's really interesting, and you know, I kind of identify with it. He's talking about the fact that he works with Arabs all the time, Israeli Arabs, and his son is out there in a commando unit or intelligence, and people are asking him, "How are you? Are you safe?" And you know, the people that have families, maybe in Gaza, maybe in the West Bank, so it's like a huge dissonance. And but what do you tell these people? Yeah, my son is out there killing your family, and I'm here talking to you about peace. So it's a huge
It was stressful. It was stressful. Okay, let's see.
Which sometimes is my mayor.
Oh, and they
And sometimes they
respect
question
him with
me.
the answer.
Yeah,
They respect him with the answer. Yes, yes, yes.
that's what's.
When we went to President Herzog, it was very funny. If you saw the picture, Ofri, Aviv's oldest son, came in shorts and sandals with his dog. Okay. And we're all sitting there, and Ofri is sitting off to the left of the president, and everybody else is to the right of the president. So Herzog turns to him and asks him what he does. And he says, "Ani chaklai, I'm a farmer." And then they have a little discussion about that. And then Ofri, who looks like very respectfully, says to President Herzog, "We lost."
Of course we lost.
We lost, he says. And I was in the army for 3 years. I wasn't a combat soldier. I was a driver for sometimes important people, but we lost. And what I learned in the army is you have to look at the situation realistically and then move on. And we were there because Aviv is still a hostage, even though it's his body.
Yeah.
And Herzog said, "I agree with you."
Yeah, but he is a coward, if you ask me. He served Netanyahu, unfortunately. I am so frustrated. Our politicians. Benny Gantz disappointed me. I supported him.
Benny Gantz.
Yeah, He disappointed me. Netanyahu is the best politician in this globe right now, on the globe. And he's playing with them endless play. And they fall into the traps all the time. Enough is enough. I can understand the feeling.
I know you might not like Herzog, and I want to
I
put
don't
this.
like him.
I want to put this on
Okay.
Facebook, but I'm going to tell you, he does not like Netanyahu.
I know. I truly believe him. I know it's not his way, but nobody can face Netanyahu here. No one. Barkat shouted, you saw in the paper today, against Netanyahu and against Garland. Why don't you vote against them? Because it's all internal politics.
It's all money.
It's all money. And it's, of course, the survival of Netanyahu and justice. Yeah.
So the cynicism in Israel is beyond belief, because in fact it is all money, and the money is that, like in America, there's a patronage system, and when you control the government, you give away a tremendous number of jobs, including this government is the largest government Israel has ever had, which means there are more ministers than there have ever been in any Israeli government. And the ministers will not vote themselves out of the jobs. So they'll talk against Netanyahu, and they will complain about his failures, and they will say, up until October 7th, it's Netanyahu's responsibility, and after October 7th, it's Hamas's responsibility, but they will never, ever vote against Netanyahu because it means they all lose their jobs.
It's even more than that. The person that he mentioned, if you could hear Balkat, he was a high up in the army. I don't know the Sgan Aluf, I have no idea. He was very high.
Lieutenant Colonel.
And also Kish, who's the Minister of Education, who's a complete failure. And they both voted for giving the Orthodox
Deferments.
to let them not join the army.
Right, deferments.
So deferments. So both, and they were like publicly shamed in the units. A lot of people, they have WhatsApp groups, and they were like completely shameful that because they are army men and they should know better, and yet they did not have the balls to actually vote for recruiting Orthodox Jews in the middle of the war. So that was a big, big thing.
Okay.
On November 25th, he became very acquainted with Ayman Uda, who used his name in the Knesset and said Yehuda Beinin was advocating the right path. And the path is we have to all live together in Israel as equals.
Yeah, as equal. When I say in Jewish state, there is right now there will be one law who is discriminating, the law of return. That's all.
Right.
If you ask me, all the rest must be very equal. But you know what? Until the law of nationality law, what they call it,
nation state law.
Yeah, most of law was equal. The interpretation is not equal. The way the ministers does it, or the people in the streets behave. But law, and I know I'm speaking as a Jew, as a majority, I know my privilege. I know that the Arab doesn't feel the same. I know everything, and I respect it. I respect it, it's fine, I'm not arguing with them. We need to change behavior of people. The people that go, the children, the youth that go through my youth club will be in 10 years in positions. And then they know that there is a face to everyone. It's not only Arab and Jew.
So, I was speaking with Eyal, and I had Marcio Selewski and Erica Weiner with me. I took them, and Eyal knew, I mean, Erica had Eyal as a Hebrew teacher in Czech. And Eyal was saying,
So when I went to Israel in May, I went for the memorial service on Memorial Day for my cousin Aviv Atzili, who was killed at his kibbutz on October 7th. And I had spoken to Eyal Sabag, who was our first young emissary. And Eyal said, Jerry, I'm going to Beersheba while you're going to be at Kibbutz Nir Oz. And I said, why are you going to Beersheba? And he said, I'm going to Beersheba because one of my soldiers was killed, and I'm going to the memorial service for him. So here I was going to Kibbutz Nir Oz, and here Eyal Sabag, our very first young emissary, was going to Beersheba, and both of us were going for memorial services for people who were killed. My cousin on October 7th, and Eyal's soldier in Gaza during the battles. And as you heard, I took Erica Weiner and Marcio Selewski with me down to Kibbutz Nir Oz. So we all met in a small city as we were both heading back north to Tel Aviv. And I asked Eyal about the accusations of indiscriminate shooting in Gaza. And Eyal answered me, can I do stop share so they don't see this?
Yeah, you should. Just stop here. Yeah, and Howard had a question.
Okay, so Eyal is the commander of a battalion now that is what you call they're combat engineers. And his job, the job of his battalion, is to blow up the tunnels that they discover in Gaza. And Eyal, I said to Eyal, is there any truth to this accusation of indiscriminate attacking of hospitals and schools, etc.? And Eyal said, Jerry, let me tell you a story. We were drilling down to place explosives in a tunnel, and we came under fire from a school. He said, and I asked for permission to return fire, and the field commander said, where is it coming from? And I told him such and such a school, and he said, no, you can't return fire. It's a school. The next day, Hamas people from that school injured 5 Israeli soldiers. And then Eyal called up again and said, I can't keep working here unless you allow me to return fire. And they said, don't return fire, we'll take care of it. And 12 minutes later, a plane destroyed the school. That was war. That was war. And the newspapers, would write, and the international press would write, a school in such and such a place was destroyed by the Israelis. But the truth of the matter is, and Eyal had no reason to make up this story to me, that the day before, he was told not to return fire. And the day after, there were 5 casualties from shots from that school, and they took out the school. When we finished our meeting, there were lots of hugs, and Erica was taught by Eyal when she was in 3rd grade at Schechter, and Marcy and Erica have both made Aliyah They both moved to Israel. And Eyal was very sad. And why was he sad? He was sad because partly after what I told him, he thinks that the world doesn't understand what Israel is trying to do. And he was adamant that I took his pictures and I shared it with everybody, but I cannot put his pictures on social media, and I cannot share those photos in any way. Why? Because he wants to be able to travel abroad, and he doesn't want to be targeted by people in Europe. So I didn't put his picture up. Howard, you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Yeah, Jerry, just a comment. I took a call from the Chabad rabbi here, and I have to leave for a minyan, and I apologize. But he needs one guy, so I'm the guy. Anyway, I enjoyed it so far, and I understand it's being recorded. Is there any way for me to access the rest of the program afterward?
Yeah, we'll put it up.
share.
We'll share the link of the recording with everybody that's on it. We
Okay.
might just share it with the whole community.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Good seeing you
It's good to
guys.
see you again, Howard.
Take
And good
care.
luck to your daughter. When are you going to go visit her?
Well, I've gone every time she had a baby, but I hope.
How many
I'm not
times
looking
is
for-
that?
There's 4 so far, but I'm not.
Wow.
No,
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see how things work out. All right. Good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, I'm going to try and continue. I apologize that Asaf cannot be heard very well. Oh,
Jerry,
yes?
I have a question. So there was no after the story you just told us, there was never a consideration that just to shoot back without dropping, as opposed to dropping a bomb. Because if you shoot back and return fire, it's much less dramatic and could have, I don't quite understand that logic, but they should defend themselves. But it's interesting
Well,
that
that's a very
a bomb.
that's a very good point that you make, and it's a very important point that you make. And I'm going to try and explain the decision to you. And I tend to actually agree with you, but I'm going to explain the approach that the Israelis are taking. The approach they're taking, and it's been remarkably successful. The war has gone on now for over 9 months, and the fatalities the fatalities in those 9 months are 325 Israeli soldiers. That does not include the ones that were killed on October 7th. So they've waged a battle trying to minimize Israeli casualties as much as possible. And one of the ways to eliminate the risk of casualties is to take a situation like the school, and instead of engaging in a firefight, where just by shooting your weapon, you reveal yourself to a sniper on the other side. You call in a drone or a jet plane, and you drop a bomb on the place where they're all firing from. So that's the logic from the Israeli point of view. Unfortunately, Barbara, I think it's also the logic from the Hamas point of view. Hamas would prefer to be able to accuse Israel of bombing hospitals and bombing schools and bombing mosques, so they will put combatants in those places. And the Israelis will not tolerate that. So that's the thinking. Do I wish that wasn't happening? Of course I do, but that's where it is now.
New York Times finally started talking about that. Have you seen that?
No, I can believe it. Finally is right. Okay, let's go back to share screen. And
Just
I want to switch now. I want to go back to another one. So
Close
how do I
share.
close share?
go to share. Yeah,
But I want to go to another one.
then you close it.
You do it.
Okay, I'm gonna close this altogether, okay?
Okay. But we're still in Zoom, right?
Yeah, and now we're gonna share something else. Let me just open back, and now we share.
I don't want to share this one. I want another one.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, it's all the whole thing, share. And now we can put this one down. Drag it down.
So the last video I want to share with you is the video from Gan, from that little village in Israel where Safran lives, and the command center to defend that kibbutz. That it's not a kibbutz, it's a no, it's a kihilati, yishuv kihilati.
Communal.
A communal village, little communal village. So what do I hit? Play. I want to go back to the beginning. Ken. So this is the command center for the Civil Defense Unit in Gan. And each village, this is the commander.
לא, הערב, אני בבית שלו, בשבע.
זה עדיין קיים?
כן, קיים ובועט. אצלנו זה פחות, רק אצלנו...
בקונטיקט.
כן, מכל סאוטרן ניו אינגלנד.
הבת שלי רוצה.
To catch up for a second. While it's catching up, I'll tell you that he's got, I believe, 6 screens in his office. Each screen is projecting a camera that covers the perimeter.
היא בי"א עכשיו, תגיד לה שב-29 לחודש נפתחת...
He didn't get dressed up to show me how he looks. This is what he wears all the time when he walks.
Okay, I'm
There's the screens.
So, yeah. It's loading.
in IDF, but IDO.
IDO in the IDF.
IDO, are you in the IDF?
Right now, yeah, in my reserve.
You're in Miluim,
Yeah,
and you're active in Miluim now.
yeah.
So tell us what's happening here in Ganer and in the defense of the villages around here.
Actually, the last house is something like 800 meters from the border. The last house from all around Ganer. He's close to the fence of the border, in about 800 not miles, 800 meters. So it's pretty close. Behind the fence, we have what we call the names of the villages are Jalame, one of the villages, Arabune, and another 2 I can show you in the map if you want.
Later.
So all around us in this area, in the south side, Behind the fence, we got the backyard of Jenin, which means if there was shooting before, all kind of trying to open the fence with explosive, all kind of explosive. Also trying to come to Israel to work, you know, to cut the fence to go in to work. So every time something like this happens, we are jumping as a group, and we are secure the village. That's all.
How many are in the group?
We are for the first time, for the first jump, we are 28. Who comes first? Take control on the area and start doing what we train to do.
And what are you trained to do?
We train to be a shield to take the fire to us, be the first in the front, and to make actions if there is needs. Which means if they're starting to attack us, we have the drills and the stuff that we need to do to fight with them, to finish the mess, let's say.
Did the activity increase a lot after October 7th?
Yeah, you can see this. Actually, it's different now because all the time it's burning all the time. It's like when you turn on a fire and you leave it for the night, but it's still going on, and then something blowing up. So it goes like this. Since of October 7th, it just got up all kind of situations all around the border in our area. North side from here, south side from here, all kind of breaches in the fence, all the time, fixing it, going with vehicles, doing a lot of activity inside also, to trying to avoid occasion like this.
And have you had any breaches that were serious enough that you captured the people who penetrated?
We didn't capture. It was pretty far from here, something like 3 or 4 kilometers. It's called the Golden Gate. And if you go up the hill, up the Gilboa mountain, something like 3 kilometers from here, you're going to find that gate. And down from it, there was the breach, and other defense forces came that was closer there, so they came and stopped it.
So for Ganer and the other villages around here, they're relying on you. Are you the commander of this defense unit?
No, it's not me. He's not here. I'm one of his, let's say, officers in the command chain. He's not here. He told me to do this with you guys instead of him. So no, it's not me, but it's another person.
And all of the people that are in the unit are older men that have finished Miluim and are just staying?
Not all of them. We have a lot of young people also. Some of them even students, children of families from here who went to Tel Aviv and other places for the college. And then in the 7th of October, they came back to be with the families, so they got into the squad. And till now, they didn't leave. They are doing homeschooling.
And the total number of people in the squad are all volunteers?
No, not all of them, but there is, as I said before, there is a few groups. The small group who's jumping from now to now. It's a small group, and then 28. And then there is another soldiers who are the one who came here and then came back to the cities to keep going school. That ones, if there will be something bigger, they will come also, and we're going to be 45, something like this.
Okay. All right, and I have a cousin who was kidnapped from Kibbutz Nir Oz, and her husband was killed at Kibbutz Nir Oz, and the army didn't get to Kibbutz Nir Oz for a very long time.
Yeah, that's right. So I heard.
Do you here have good communication with the standing army, the IDF, so that if there is a serious breach, you think they would get here very quickly?
Yeah, they are nearby. We work together. We work together all the time. There is a base not so far from here, like I think maybe 1 kilometer from here. It's like in the. It's a gate to the first village that I mentioned before. So it's the base is there, and we communicating all the time. They checking us if there is stuff that we see or the opposite. Just be careful with that one I told you. Sorry about it. So we are in touch all the time. If something happened, they know it, and the opposite. Straight ahead. We know everything, they know everything, all the time, non-stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Do you think that the situation is ever going to return to a lower flame?
If you ask my opinion about what next, my personal opinion is that I'm gonna have a better taste in my mouth if it's gonna finish like this without getting something from it. As the people.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Finish like this?
I think we are going through a stage of learning. We need to, as a people, as a Jewish people, and I think for the whole world, but let's stay with the Jewish people first. There is a lesson that we need to be together. And if we're not taking from this, from what happened, one lesson, and it should be that lesson, so I'm gonna have a bitter taste in my mouth.
Okay, thank you very much. So that brings us to sort of the end of our first day of touring.
That was just,
Jerry, I just had a quick question. Was that an underground bunker you were in?
No, that was an above ground bunker. But the thing is, it was really reinforced, and all the electronics that was in it went in after October 7th. And the thing that's remarkable, he walked me out to the perimeter, and we went to an overlook, and he pointed across the border and he said, "That's where they shoot from." And a bullet came into a house 2 weeks ago. And I said, so we're standing here and they could hit us And he said, no, they really can't hit us. They only have weapons to get to the houses that are down below and are 800 meters from the border. But, you know, it's remarkable because I wanted to play this one last. So you heard him say it's important that Israel be unified. That unity is very important. And he's meaning that in a way, he clearly thinks the whole country needs to be part of the IDF. That's a polite way of saying the Orthodox Jews have to participate in defending the country. But he also is clearly very proud of the fact that so many students from Ganer after October 7th came home and are part of the defense unit of the kibbutz. Is there anybody else that has a question now? You could just raise your hand or type it in what has to it?
Nothing.
Okay. Any other questions? So tomorrow we're going to do Jerusalem or Tel Aviv. I'm not sure which. I think we'll do Jerusalem tomorrow, and we'll do Tel Aviv on Wednesday, and you'll see some shots of Kibbutz Ner Oz and the memorial service I went to. And then you'll see Yom HaZikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut, which was remarkable. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and I hope to see you again tomorrow night. Are there
Thank
any
you
other
very much,
questions?
Jerry.
You're welcome, and thank Ella. She was a big part of she's my technical backup here, as well as good commentary. And she was my partner on the very last mission we did, which was last November, which was a very challenging mission. And Ella saved the day in many ways for us on that mission. We had an unfortunate incident on the plane, and then an unfortunate incident when we landed and we were in Caesarea, and someone on the plane had on the ground in the restaurant had anaphylactic shock, and Ella went with her to the hospital, and Ella sprung her from the hospital 2 nights later, where a nurse in the hospital said, she can go home, just sign this paper that you're taking her out without our permission. But then she said, I want my clothes. And we discovered her clothes had been cut off of her with scissors when she came into the hospital. So there were no clothes. She came back to the hotel in a hospital gown, and then she was fine, and she did very well. But thank you all. I'll see you again, I hope, tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Same bad channel.